Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching a 60 Cycle Hum, and I'm about to do something that I think is a little bit daunting, to say the least. I'm the one who came up with this idea. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I think I just thought, oh, that'd be good content. That would grab clicks. That would grab eyes on some videos. The concept is I'm going to try to rate all of my Squier guitars from favorite to least favorite. Maybe I'll come up with some other metric as I go, like most likely to keep, most likely to sell, or something like that. But the reason this is going to be so daunting is that I kind of love them all. I already know that I like them all. There's not a clear answer already in my head as to which I would keep, which I would sell, which is favorite, which is least favorite. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of personal self-reflection here, trying to figure out which way I'd go on this. So anyways, buckle up. I'm going to do some playing here, jumping from guitar to guitar, and then I'll be back to have some sorts of revelations, I hope. I hope I can figure this out. Otherwise, I'm just throwing this video in the trash. All right, here we go.
Life hasn't been the same since the accident. You wouldn't think it was possible to shred off your entire hands, but that's exactly what's happened. Even simple tasks have become an impossibility. The worst part is, now I can't partake in Sweetwater's Guitar Month. So many excellent deals on acoustic and electric guitars, amplifiers, pedals and accessories, and I can't click or swipe on any of them. All of these great prices only last until September 30th, and my hands won't have healed by then. I can't take advantage of the exclusive offers, the 48-month financing, or the bonus bucks kickbacks. Don't be like me. Use your hands and check out Sweetwater's Guitar Month today.
Oh man, this is really tough, guys. I've been sitting here playing around with them for about an hour or so, jumping from guitar to guitar, putting them through different sounds, trying to compare them, trying to figure out which is my favorite and which one I could sell, and then the others would just be in the middle. It's hard because they're all pretty damn unique. Let's just go through them one by one, and I'll talk about each guitar, and maybe that'll help me have some sort of clarity, have some sort of decision making. I feel like choosing between my children right now. This is not fair. Why did I come up with this concept for myself? So anyways, this is my vintage modified Jazzmaster. It's been modern modified quite a bit since I got it. It actually came with a mastery already installed, which is part of the reason I bought it. I saw that mastery on a Jazzmaster for $300 on Craigslist, and I just knew it was a good deal. I thought I was going to scrap the mastery out and put it into something else. Ended up just falling in love with this guitar and throwing a bunch of other mods at it. I threw a Descendant vibrato on there and a set of Lambertone pickups. And of course this ugly, ugly green anodized pickguard. It's just a really fun player. I think this demonstrates a big positive quality with Squier guitars, especially with funkier stuff like offsets. Like, I would not recommend anyone who's just curious about offsets to go out and fully invest in a Made in America or even a Made in Mexico Fender. Go get something affordable, experiment with your modifications, and then take all of them off if you want to upgrade later. Like, I could take everything off of here, throw it onto an American Jazzmaster if I wanted to, or a Mexican Jazzmaster if I wanted to, and still have the same upgrades, just in a different guitar with, in theory, a nicer, higher end sort of feel across the whole guitar. So yeah, if you're looking for a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar, looking for a point of entry into that world, and even a Mustang, don't go drop a ton of money on a Mustang not knowing if you're going to like it or not. Get a Squier. This is really high up my list of my favorites here, which is funny because it's so unconventional. This is the Starcaster. And it's just fantastic. I pretty much decided I don't need any other semi-hollows in my life. Even though it's very, very unconventional take on that. Bolt-on neck, offset body, wide range pickups, you know, funky 6-in-line headstock. I just vibe with this guitar. I just connect with it. This might be my favorite. This might be my never sell or replace it if it was lost sort of guitar. The Supersonic, one of the newer ones around here, the second newest one. I've had a sordid relationship with this thing. Right out of the box, it had really bad tuning instability. The switch on it was squeaky in a way I could not believe. The controls on it are funky. 2 volumes to control the 2 pickups, no tone control. But when you dial back one of the volumes when they're, you know, in the 2 position switch, it actually starts to take a lot of the high end out. So it's kind of like balancing them together turns it into a tone control. So really weird guitar here, but I've made modifications to it. I actually started floating the bridge recently, and that's given it just an incredible amount of tuning stability. I'm shocked at it. Let me plug it in right now. I just abused the crap out of that wiggle stick, and it's totally functionally in tune. That's pretty damn impressive, I think. So that potential is there. This guitar, it just wants a floating bridge, that's all. That's all it ever wanted. I did put heavier strings on this, and I did do quite a bit of graphite work on the nut. I didn't recut the nut or anything like that. Just the heavier strings and the graphite helped lock the strings in the nut quite a bit and gave me a lot more tuning stability up here. And then floating the bridge just did the trick with any tuning instability I was having down here. Otherwise, this is the clear winner as far as high gain sounds go. It might look funky, it might look offsetty, but the pickups in this just want to scream. They just want distortion. They're loud, they're high output, they want to squeal, you know, with pinch harmonics and stuff like that, and then they want you to dive bomb with the trim. There's something very fun about this guitar, but also very weird. It's just begging for modifications, I'll say that. Now this guy, the Cyclone. I went and got it in the color I swore I'd never get. Same color as my skin, same color as my face. I'm going to say right off the bat, I think this has the worst sounding pickups of all of them. And that's very subjective, worst sounding. I think they can sound kind of thin and small, a little bit bland and boring, but the potential here with the 3 sliders to select your pickups so you can have all possible combinations of your pickups, allow for a lot of really neat combinations. Also, I just love the feel of this thing. It honestly reminds me very deeply of, it's like a hybrid between my Duosonic, my Mexican Duosonic that I just love, and my Japanese Jaguar that I also just adore. Just wrapped up into one guitar with a Strat bridge. I think I need to make this thing float too. It's a lot more tuning stable than the Supersonic was out of the box, but you know, discovering how good the Supersonic does with the floating bridge, I want to try it on this one as well. I've never been big into that with Strat bridges, but it just works on that thing. All in all, I love the feel of this guitar. It felt like coming home. There's something about the neck that just fills my hand. The neck on the Supersonic is weird. It's a really weird neck. It's a different nut width on this, and the feel of the neck reflects that where this is more full. This is kind of toothpicky at the nut. But it's really fast and really fun feeling. It's just very unique. Where the Cyclone feels very familiar and very easy for me to get along with. And there's something about this guitar, every time I pick it up, it has me playing something in a slightly different way, or has me learning something that I didn't play before. And I think it's just a looker too. Last but not least, maybe it's the least, I don't know, we haven't figured out which one is the least yet. The Squier Paranormal Baritone. Same series as the Cyclone and the Supersonic. I think maybe we should think of these in terms of why I would recommend each one. And then I'll pick favorites. I would recommend this one just to anyone who's ever been baritone curious. When it first got announced, I was like, P90s and a baritone, it's going to be fun, but I kind of wish that I was getting, a baritone with humbuckers in it, because I already have a Strat baritone. Man, these pickups, they just work in this guitar. There's like a synchronicity there where it's just a perfect combination. It's like peanut butter and chocolate, these P90s in a baritone. You throw it in the middle position there for humbucking for your high gain stuff, and it just sounds massive. It sounds huge. You don't need it to sound like a high gain super bright bridge pickup. This thing doesn't want to do that. It wants to be a doom machine, Plays very comfortable. The neck is honestly like a spot on recreation in feel and playability of the blacktop telly neck that I have on my Strat baritone. I honestly wonder if I should sell my Strat baritone sometimes, just because I've got this now. So yeah, if you're looking to get into a baritone and you're not sure where to start, I think this is a great place to start. How do I decide? All right. I'm between these two on which one I would be most likely to sell. This one I'd be likely to sell just because I might upgrade someday. I might get a much higher end, or maybe some sort of like vintage version of a Jazzmaster, and I'll probably, migrate some of these parts over to whatever it happens to be, whether I do a parts build or I find something that I really love that's just a higher end version of a Jazzmaster. So I'm sorry to say, this is on the chopping block. It very well could be. This could be on the chopping block just because it's kind of outside my style. It's a lot of fun. I feel like I've discovered the soul of this guitar by floating the bridge and embracing the sound of the pickups as being high gain, aggressive pickups. But there's just something about this, as quirky as it is, as much as I love it for its quirky shape and its wild 90s looks, I just don't connect with it as much as many of the other guitars here. But, man, boy, is it mod bait. I'm excited to continue modding this thing. I'm excited to keep exploring it. I already put a coil cut on there. I've got a wiring harness from Gun Street Wiring Shop I'm going to drop in here too. That's got a lot of surprises waiting for me. Damn, this is hard. I can't see myself upgrading to a higher end version of the Supersonic. So in that way of thinking, this one would be sellable and this one would not. In the way of thinking, though, where I would keep the guitar that I'm more likely to gig with, this would win. I'm gonna say that it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to have to pick any of them. That the Supersonic is my most likely to sell Squier here. It breaks my heart, though, because it's so funky and it's so wonderful in so many ways. And now that I've got it dialed in, it's definitely fully giggable. And I think it actually sounds great for the sounds that it makes. It's just not fully my style. I'm going to say it. I think this is my favorite Squier. I think the Starcaster is hands down my favorite Squier. Just as a player's guitar, just as a guitar that I'm in love with. It doesn't even have to make sense on paper. Like, I'm not going to gig with this as my surf guitar, but I totally gig with this thing, playing at church or doing some other stuff with it. I love playing it. There's just something so unique and so satisfying about this guitar. I love the sound of the pickups. I don't care if they are true to vintage wide range humbuckers or anything like that. I like these pickups, how they sound on this guitar. I have no desire to swap them out. I've thought about doing a mod where I put a Bixby or even a Duesenberg trim on here. I don't know if I'm ever going to get around to it because I like it so much as it is. If I was going to change anything on this, I'd like to do a white pickguard and white plastic hardware on it. I think that would make it pop in a way that I would like a little bit better. But I've changed nothing on this guitar since I got it. And I've been impressed with it and in love with it every time I pick it up. So yeah, this is my favorite Squier. Despite it being pretty far outside of my norm. Which is why the Supersonic is, in theory, sellable now. So now I've got to decide between these two to finish out the ranking. Because right now it's Starcaster first, Supersonic last, Jazzmaster second to last. And this is it's all so subjective. It's all based on my own personal taste and how I think I'd use the guitars in the future. Baritones are very tricky. There's not a lot of opportunities to use them in a pre-existing band setup because you've already got a bassist. When you start playing this, you start dropping into a range that's outside of what you would cover in guitar. You kind of have to build your music around this. But damn, it's so much fun to have around. It's so much fun to have a baritone around. It's such a rut breaker. You're in a songwriting rut or a guitar playing rut. Something funky like this. Something heavy and doomy. Oh man, it's so fun to have a baritone. I'm going to say that if I didn't have another baritone, this would go over this. But there's something about the Cyclone that I just instantly connect with. It feels like an old glove. It feels like coming home. I think I do want to drop at least one new pickup into it at some point, probably a bridge pickup, just to give me a little bit more character, a little bit more life. I think the neck and the middle are totally fine for me, but I want to have, maybe I'll get crazy and I'll mod it closer to the original Cyclones and put a Jaguar bridge pickup in there. That would be a wild project. Just one Jaguar pickup in this guitar as a wink back to the original Cyclones. But yeah, this one is just barely beating this one. I think playability-wise, I think all these guitars play really great. They all play kind of around the same level. The necks feel very similar quality. The fretwork's all great on them. I honestly think you get a great product, a great guitar from Squier. I think they're hitting above their price points most of the time, honestly. I've honestly been saying online and in conversations that I think Fender is pushing Squier up to replace the price point and the quality point of the Mexican Fenders that I grew up on. The 90s and 2000s Mexican Fenders. They're hitting that quality point with the Squiers now, and they're pushing the Mexican Fenders to be more entry-level, domestic guitars. They're pushing up into, the low thousands now with some of the Mexican builds. So yeah, I think Squier's just really been delivering on the quality. So let's go through it in order. Top. The Starcaster wins it. Second place, the Cyclone. Which honestly kind of surprises me. I didn't think this was going to get second when I started this today. But that's how judging works, right? You figure out, all these weird little angles. Third is the baritone. If you're curious about baritones at all, man, I recommend it. It's just a ton of fun. I have no mods planned for this. Maybe some sort of refin thing in the future, just to break up, the stark kind of black thing. I like a guitar to pop color-wise, so I don't know. Fourth place, highly modified Jazzmaster here. If you are offset curious, if you want to dive into the weird world of guitars that need quite a bit of love and experimenting and tweaking to get playing the way that individuals want them to play, because there's a lot of options there. I mean, it's one of the most highly moddable and, needing maintenance style of guitars out there. And I definitely say, if you are offset curious, don't go spend big money on them first. Go get a Squier or something similar to experiment around with the stock bridge, the stock trim, see if you even like the sound of the pickups in a Jazzmaster, in a Jaguar, in a Mustang, and then go from there. Upgrade later if you feel like it. But you might end up, like me, with something you thought you were buying for the parts, and then you ended up pouring a bunch of time and energy into it because you just like the guitar as it is, because you just like the guitar, and it's fun to experiment on. And then last, the Supersonic. I'm sorry. I didn't want to pick any of them last, honestly. Like, it's all judged on these minor technicalities of personal taste and, how I would use them in the future and stuff like that. It doesn't deserve to be last on any list. It came out of the box kind of rough. But then I polished it, and I think it's a gem now. I think this is a guitar I can definitely recommend. Just be aware of the issues that I had when it came out of the box. The bridge was not set up to be tuning stable. There was a really poor quality switch. I'm still not sure if the nut was a contributing factor at all. The strings I didn't like, so I swapped those out. But it's a really fun guitar now. I'm just not sure the sound of it and the feel of it is me. But I'm going to keep it around anyways for quite a while. I have no plans to actually sell any of these. So, thanks for watching. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just ridiculously hot in this garage right now. I am melting. Thanks for watching me sweat to death. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude, nasty comments. If you want to help me out, if you're shopping for anything, even if you're just shopping for Christmas gifts, consider using my affiliate links down below. It's a legitimate way that I can make a living making, this entertaining content that I hope you like. And other than that, you know what? Stay grounded. Bye, everybody.